face, motherfucker. Real talk, real talk, real talk. Say it with your chest, motherfucker. Real talk, real talk, real talk. Say it to my face, motherfucker. Real talk, real talk, real talk. Say it with your chest, motherfucker.
We live in 2022. We live in a world where people are asking each other, what are your pronouns? We live in a world where everything is just everything. So, sexuality and identity. Why do you think it's so hard for not just the world, but even for our community to understand that who I identify as and what I identify as has nothing to do with what my sexuality is?
Because then they have to face their own, they have to face themselves.
Is it really about facing yourself or just about opening your mind and not being concrete?
It's about them.
Let me finish. I say that because majority of the time it comes from these heteronormative
Yes.
thought process
Yes.
where they say, okay, this person is masculine. He's 6'6", he's built, he got dreads, he walks
Every
on
girl
a limb.
wants him.
Every girl wants
Yes.
him. You cannot be a bottom.
And our community has been built up on that so much over the years. Like our community is basically about that.
Because that's from the examples that we've been given, though.
Or
right?
not given, but that's just from the
that we inherited.
thing.
I feel like we've adapted these certain standards and of what we think masculinity should be over the years, just to break them down to be where we are today.
And it's so funny that you say that because a couple of months ago, I had a hookup with somebody exactly how you explained to him. And I've actually met him through having a threesome with probably like a foursome with somebody else kind of thing. But when it was finally my turn for her to come back kind of thing, I'm expecting him to do the same thing that we did when we all linked up, because he walked into the room as this alpha male and it was like, oh, you bitches want me to rob y'all. We put the mask on him before mask was in, that kind of thing, you know? This is like a 6'6", dark skin, cut up Mandingo, Tim's on kind of thing.
I know him, sis.
Yes, I'm sure you do. Bitch, we all know him, bitch. They all look alike. But what I'm saying is, you know, I expected, because of how he came into the room the first time that we met, when we got by ourselves, I expected him to come with the same thing. And here she is, we bumping and crunching, and she like, girl, I want you to fuck me tonight. And I'm like, where am I fucking you at? You get what I'm saying to you? And that falls into what you're saying about someone being 6'6" and being a bottom and all that kind of stuff. When it comes to that thing, it's just like, what I've learned in the many of times that I've had sex, go into it very openly.
Because you just don't know.
You just don't know. We had this conversation, can I say this? We had this conversation about a cisgendered woman chasing trans women and all kind of things. And, you know, it's just, it's an open book. But I feel like with you being like, I like this, I'm this, I like this sexually, I'm trans this, I'm this, you know? People who don't live in that have to face that. And they don't want you to be proud about that because they can't face that themselves. They can't stand up to be like, oh, you know how many people I have to be like, bitch, I wish I was like you. And I'm like, you could be, but you choose not to.
Right.
You know? People choose not to do certain things for their family, for their mothers, for their grandmothers and all that. And when you come around, your grandmother be like, baby, I knew. Why was you doing that, baby? You get what I'm saying? Why was you doing all of that?
You know what? I always find it crazy, the amount of LGBT people who subscribe to what we say heterosexual normatives, and that's like with religion and just a lot of the ideas of what should be. A lot of gay people are very traditional and like to follow traditional ways. Even a lot of gay marriages are based on heterosexual relationship, masculine and feminine. When this is really two men who are coming together, that's a whole totally different dynamic than a man and a woman.
You think age plays a lot in that?
No, because and some people are just traditionally. Chad just said a minute ago, and that was from traditional thinking. You know what I'm saying? From where he was raised, it's about where we were raised,
Your environment,
what's instilled into us. Like a little white boy that doesn't know. You know, when I was in the kindergarten up to the 2nd grade, my best friend was this little white guy named David. We were so cool. But as we advanced in school and got into middle school and went to high school, we weren't as close because growing up, we realized that we were white and black, and but when we were kids in kindergarten at first, we was like the best of friends. So, and I'm just saying that to say a lot of behaviors are taught, you know, so, and
it's your environment. Yeah. I mean, you know, I've been quote faggot and the Bachiman and all that kind of stuff, but like a ridicule for my family, like I always say, my family's Jamaican, you know, and I can't tell you one time that I felt like my Jamaican family said, you can't be no Batiman for that. I've never gotten that from my immediate family. You know, some, yes, maybe some. Sometimes you go, oh, I don't want nobody doing nothing to you and hurting you. And, you know, they come with this certain kind of aggression that they think is going to make change you and do all these kind of things. But, you know, it's this thing where it's like, let people be. It's like it exists. It's there. Learn it. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
You get what I'm saying to you? Everybody wants to be a part of us, but they don't want to be with us. You know what I'm saying? They want to be down, but they don't want to be down. You know? And it goes back to being black, too. You know? Not to make race everything, but if you are a black, trans, gay, lesbian, bisexual person, you're out here pulling double duty. And people do not realize how much of an emotional strain that is, how much of a mental strain that is, a physical strain. You get what I'm saying? The kids are committing suicide because motherfuckers is you're not out here loving them. You tell them they can't feel the way that they feel. They can't say that they're gay. They can't go to school and learn that they exist or they're included. They can't be black. They can't, you know, it's just so much of a can't that they don't want to be here.
Just in the world, we have a lot to be proud of, but we also have to understand that we have a ways to go. And us as a community, with the help of our allies, hopefully we will be able to do that.
During filming, no matter if you're in the audience or in production, everyone is entitled to their truth and experiences. This is a place for all to express to understand. Our creative director, Chad B., felt the topic he wanted to express, and we're here for it. Thank you for watching. This is the response.
Marsha,
I will say both of your opinions is valid as hell because y'all both come from different parts of the community where it isn't accepted.
Right.
Where Chad comes from, where Chad part of it comes from is they're still not there doing it.
Right.
They're still not there including it. They're still not there anything. You still can die.
But Chad is also saying I should be grateful for crumbs.
That's how people.
That's what Chad is saying.
And what I'm gonna say
like,
is,
fuck out of here, no.
Because they don't even get crumbs.
If Marsha P.
Exactly.
They don't even get
okay, but you saying exactly, but you here in America now.
Right. I want to say, I'm not cutting you. I'm just saying, direct this conversation to them so I can film it. Not to me, because I'm behind the camera.
You could.
No, this could be some outside because this is a serious conversation.
If Marsha P. Johnson would have just shut the fuck up. If Marsha P. Johnson just would have been grateful for being allowed to go to Christopher Street, then we would not be having pride right now. You would not be able to come here to America to feel like you're free and you're comfortable to be who you are. So to tell us, no, we're supposed to make noise. We're supposed to not be grateful. We're supposed to go off so that the ones that are 3 years old now won't have to be worried about just in June. They get to see themselves in the store. They get to see themselves everywhere, every year. So we can't be quiet, and we're not going to be grateful about it because we're not where we need to be. Just like as African Americans, we are not where we need to be. Even though we're every fucking where, we still aren't treated the way that we should be. Just like LGBT, whether you're black, white, or brown, we still aren't respected and treated the same way as
And
everybody
I'm not
else.
going to ever be grateful for crumbs. I want the same motherfucking feast that Master
Yes.
had.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just that. So when I say things, when I talk about Trans Day of Visibility and days like Trans Day of Remembrance, it's because there is a efficiency that we have to have days like this. If I was looked at as equal as my female counterparts or whatever counterparts,
Not even-
I wouldn't need a fucking special day to celebrate or to say, hey, Trans Day of Visibility, because these people are here.
Right.
Bitch, we've been here since the beginning of time.
And not even
So
that.
yeah, I'm always have a problem with that.
Now, wow, that was mostly informative and very heated. But we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with Bugz Got Us so we can express to understand.
We're gonna take it somewhere different.
Okay.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on HIV and disclosing it? Like, what do you feel about what do you feel about that?
I feel your status is your business. Unless that you're really going to be with that partner and able to trust that person. There's some acknowledgement of you guys have an understanding. There's some kind of commitment. You get what I'm saying to you? Because people can take your status, no matter if it's positive or negative, and weaponize it
Even if it's
against you,
undetectable.
right? And you have to protect that yourself, right? So I feel like if you're not in a committed relationship with the person, you're not married to the person, there's no longevity with this person, disclose it if you want to. Yes, but there's going to be some kind of backlash to that. But you have the right to protect your status, because you can't just be like, hey, this is what's going on, and the motherfucker be like, no, I don't want to be with you.
Right.
Because then it's gonna mentally fuck you up for the rest of your life. It's just gonna fuck you up. You get what I'm saying to you? You have to be in a space with someone that you're able to trust and do that also, And that doesn't just come with like a hookup. That just doesn't come with a grinder visit or a double S. That doesn't come with that, Yeah.
What about you?
I kind of agree. Like, because trust is important. You don't want to just give out I don't want to give out my business ever. Like, I like to stay low key, but with something like HIV, I don't know. I really haven't given much thought to it. Like, I think, I'm only telling someone something serious if I trust them. But I also could see like where it's difficult in hookup culture because there is health at risk. And
like you said before, you take that risk. We said that in the conversations before. You take that risk, so you're responsible for what goes on for you taking that risk. But also,
I was gonna say, does that justify the fact that you don't disclose your status to someone that you're hooking up with?
Right, I was
No,
gonna ask
that's the scary
because
part.
I think that should be the conversation.
I wanna
if
know.
you're sexing.
I think everything really comes down to like your morals and responsibilities as a human being. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we could all sit here and give our opinions of it, but what it really comes down to is like, if you are that type of person or not, and if you want to disclose that information, I totally understand. It can be a very messy situation if you're just going around mentioning, oh yeah, I'm HIV positive, yeah, so let's hook up. Like, I get it. But also too, if you're going to make that decision to have raw sex, then you should be able to at least get yourself on PrEP. You know what I'm saying? It's about being responsible. That's really what everything comes down to.
if you're having unprotected sex with someone and you are HIV positive, you should at least say like, hey, this is what's going on, but then that's not what's going to go on.
Oh, right.
Well, you know what? We are in a new day and age with HIV. First, let's acknowledge U equals you, which means undetectable, equals untransmittable. So that is people who have chronically suppressed immune systems. It's almost impossible to transmit HIV. And then let's move on to the second piece, hookup culture. A lot of people who are not in relationships or people who are just hooking up are probably just hooking up with people who they are just seeing once, or, you know what I'm saying? These hookups are not, so it's like, how much of yourself are you sacrificing for a random hookup, especially if you're taking safety protocols, if you're using condoms, if you're doing whatever. And then when people choose to have unprotected sex, that's a whole other thing. And I think people really need to accept and admit the type of sex that they have to have. Some people, that you don't like condoms. This goes for women, men, and anybody in between. You just know. I've heard women say, I don't like how they feel. I've heard men say, I don't like how they feel. So you need to take responsibility for that you don't even want to use the condom. Like, let's just start there. So we can't place blame on other people when you want to feel the meat in you too, sis. Like, it's not.
You're responsible.
That I can tackle that conversation from so many different ways, because, like, I know I've been in situations where I have had sex with somebody that found out they were positive, and I felt the way, like to the point where I wanted to, like, really, 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 really take it there. And I also know people who, when they found out they were HIV positive, they were so hurt and broken, and it was like the end of their life, and they were so upset and angry with the person who that they gave it to. But then a couple years later, it was given out. They would have sex with whoever they wanted to have sex with, and wouldn't tell that person.
But how much of the responsibility?
Hold on. The responsibility lies on everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, people are not walking up to you. It's not going to be. They're not walking up to you first day.
And I see how people who may be positive could say, you know what, it's 2022.
Why not?
Why are you not? So if you are initiating this and blah 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 blah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I get that, and I also get how a person who would say, well, sis, just because I initiated it, don't mean that you got to be like, because if you know that every single day you're taking this medicine, or you know that blah 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 blah, you should also be like, or you should say that, especially when, like, on apps, they have a part where you can say, what is your HIV status? So now, when you have a part where you can say what is your HIV status, and you are positive, and you're saying negative, or I'm on PrEP, then that's
lying.
Something totally different.
I think it's irresponsible for any grown person to walk in a sexual situation and assume someone is negative.
Right.
You are
From anything,
as a
HIV.
person, as an adult, especially hooking up and doing whatever. The responsibility is totally on you to use protection if you're going to have sex with a stranger.
But also,
let's move on to the next topic.
And I want to say this, but also in the same breath, a person who is positive, who has been through what they have been through, because I'm sure every person who is positive has been through something once they found out they were positive, should not go into every situation thinking that everybody is positive, or that everybody just don't care. Because the person it could have been something about you that they really, really just, and then, damn, next thing you know, it's giving crooked.
Thank you for watching The Response Talk Show, where we express to understand. Here are 2 listings for your HIV testing and PrEP kit. In Brooklyn, New York, we have the Brooklyn Ghost Project on Fulton in New York at Brooklyn Ghost Project. Follow them. Or at Atlanta, Georgia, Project Peach at Embry Hospital. Follow Embry Hospital to get your information. Thank you so much.
Real talk, real talk. Say it to my face, motherfucker. Real talk, real talk, real talk. Say it with your chest, motherfucker. Real talk, real talk, real talk. Say it to my face, motherfucker. Real talk, real talk, real talk. Say it with your chest, motherfucker.